every day you wake up and you really appreciate that you have this. I feel so fortunate that I'm alive. But when you're in the midst of a crisis, when you're deep in crisis, it's hard to see above it or outside of it. But you have to remind yourself of the big picture all the time. If that's the core musician that you are, if that's the core of your musicianship, then you should be able to carry that. Like people talk about guilty pleasures. I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I believe that you should be able to say, I like this. And I suffer from this problem because not only do I feel like time is short, we should take advantage of the opportunity, but also I have this burning desire to challenge myself. You look up to your heroes, and you shouldn't be intimidated by them. You should be inspired by them.
Dave Grohl, lead vocalist, guitarist, and primary songwriter of the Foo Fighters. Also known for his drumming in the legendary band, Nirvana, Dave is a true legend in the rock music scene. He has won numerous Grammy Awards, but most importantly, a reputation as one of the most influential and respected figures in rock. Don't miss these words of inspiration and advice from the one and only Dave Grohl.
Hell and back again, subterranean. When we started the Foo Fighters, it wasn't just like starting a band. It wasn't just like putting some guys together with instruments. It was a bit more emotionally, it was a bit more emotional than that. It was a continuation of life. Pat and I had been in Nirvana. Our drummer William and our bass player Nate had been in a band that had ended prematurely. And so we were young and we were not finished playing music. But more than that, we just needed something to look forward to. We needed something to get us through life. And if you think of it that way, then every day you wake up and you really appreciate that you have this. I feel so fortunate that I'm alive and that I'm in the Foo Fighters and I get to share this with all of my friends.
After the death of Cobain in 1994, Grohl struggled with the decision of continuing music. And eventually, he decided to continue his career by forming the Foo Fighters with fellow Nirvana bandmate Pat Smear. He played the drums on the first album of the band, but moved to the vocals and guitar, being the primary songwriter of the band.
No, I think, the most important thing is the life or the youth that you feel within you. And I think there is something to growing old gracefully. And I don't think that has to do with physicality. I think that has to do with your spirit. But, when you're in the midst of a crisis, when you're deep in crisis, it's hard to see above it or outside of it. But you have to remind yourself of the big picture all the time. I really honestly believe it. Even in the depths of the darkest fucking day, you have to remember the bigger picture. And I don't mean that year. I don't even mean your lifetime. I mean the stars and the fucking universe. Yeah. And you have to imagine some bigger picture in order to make yourself through any of those crises. And I think that it was that day that I realized I'm lucky enough to be here, so I might as well take advantage of every day and the life that I get to live, even on the worst days. I'm happy to be alive. And that was a huge moment for me. It changed my life. I don't understand the industry. I don't understand where music is headed. I don't really understand technology. I just know that when you walk into a club and you see a band that blows you away, you are going to follow that band. You're going to either buy their CD or you're going to find them online or you're going to see them the next time they come to play. You don't have to stand in line at the song contest on TV to become a fucking popular musician. When you're learning to play an instrument or learning to write songs, there's no guilt then. And if that's the core musician that you are, if that's the core of your musicianship, then you should be able to carry that. People talk about guilty pleasures. I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I believe that you should be able to say, I like this. And there should be nothing wrong with that. I remember when Gangnam Style came out. I wasn't ashamed to say, that's my favorite song of the year. I know I'm supposed to be this hardened punk rock, heavy metal dude, but Gangnam Style is one of my favorite songs. I should be able to say that, right? What's wrong with that? So I don't believe in the idea that guilt should be associated with the amount of people that listen to your music. I think that the world should be able to, the minute you put it into a microphone, it's out of your hands. If it's a beautiful song and the world wants to sing it, I think that you should sing it with them. No two children learn the same. And sometimes it's not the kid that fails the school, it's the school that fails the kid. And she didn't think I was a complete idiot. You know, she just knew that I wasn't going to make it under the fluorescent lights of this public school thing. So when I said, I gotta go play music, she said, you better be good.
Nirvana's 1991 album, Nevermind, was a huge commercial success and helped to popularize the grunge genre. And the band's follow-up album, Grohl played drums on both of these albums and wrote several songs for Nirvana, although they were primarily credited to Kurt Cobain.
It's easy to get addicted to accomplishment, and it can become a problem. You know, you set these goals for yourself, and you try to challenge yourself. You try to accomplish something that you don't know you can do, so you work hard to prove it to yourself. And once you achieve that or accomplish it, you get a good 24 hours of satisfaction, and then it's gone. And then you're on to the next thing. And it definitely, I suffer from this problem because not only do I feel like time is short, we should take advantage of the opportunity, but also I have this burning desire to challenge myself and to prove to myself that I can do something, whether it's making a documentary or making an album or playing stadium or writing a book, whatever it is. I'm not sure that I can do any of these things, and that's why I do them. That's the deal, is that you look up to your heroes and you shouldn't be intimidated by them. You should be inspired by them. Don't look at the poster on your wall and think, fuck, I could never do that. Look at the poster on the wall and think, fuck, I'm gonna do that. And the band came on stage and they had 2 amplifiers and 1 microphone, and there were 2 stage lights, and they counted into the song, and the room just erupted. And I realized maybe this is rock and roll. You know, this is raw. This is so real. They only knew 4 chords. I'm like, I know those 4 chords, so maybe I could do this as well. And that's really what inspired me the most, was feeling that that it was accessible to me. I didn't have to have the dragons and the lasers and the smoke machines. All I really needed was 4 chords and the truth, right? And so that set me in this new direction of becoming a musician where I felt like I could do everything myself. I didn't need any of the record companies or any of the stadiums. I was just going to play rock and roll like that. There was a writer who sort of came up with the concept years ago, and the whole thing was, if you can perceive it, you can achieve it. I have this theory that there's 2 types of people in the world. The type of person that when presented with an idea or a challenge, they say, okay, let's figure that out. Then there's the other type that immediately thinks of all the reasons why it can't be done. And I'm, of course, the type that just wants to figure it out. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. And it doesn't really matter what it is. I'm fucking confident or cocky enough that I feel like, okay, give it to me. I'll figure it out. I usually steer myself towards things that I'm not entirely sure I can do.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's so much more fun.
Right.
There's no safety net. Why the fuck not? Life's too short to just sort of do the thing that you know how to do all the time.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Let's do something that we have no idea what's going to happen.